Welcome to the TheLanCave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, Professor X, I guess, with my X-Men t-shirt, joined by Owen.
We wish you a Merry Christmas and other holidays.
All the holidays, whatever holiday you celebrate. Yeah, we're all inclusive here. Christmas is right around the corner, 3 days away, 2 days if you celebrate it on Christmas Eve as well. Like, I always feel like Christmas starts like during Christmas Eve, in my opinion, and then,
Did you have like a Christmas Eve? Did you open all your gifts? Did you open a gift? Did you do some stockings?
So when I was really young, when I was really little, I don't remember opening up anything on Christmas Eve. And then at some point, someone, I don't even know what changed, but then it was like, oh, well, we'll do stockings. And then every now and then it was, oh, well, you can open up one gift. I don't know if that was my parents getting just more relaxed or what. But obviously those, the presents from Santa weren't there at that point. So, it wasn't me.
Or maybe it was like a thing that was like harder to entertain the children, as like in terms of like holding them back. So you just had it. You couldn't quite open the floodgates, but you could open like a release valve or something.
Yeah, you behave and you can open up one present, and it wasn't Santa's present, so they knew it wasn't like a big reveal. Maybe that's what it was. But yeah, how about you?
That's another question that we've been like debating. Well, I didn't celebrate Christmas growing up, so we're kind of creating our own like family traditions now. But did they wrap the Santa presents, or did they leave them unwrapped?
Yeah, so Santa presents were usually wrapped unless it was a large item. Santa presents were usually wrapped in a different wrapping paper because obviously he doesn't use the same wrapping paper as
he doesn't.
Parents. So he has his own wrapping paper. So it would be different.
But kids, if he does have a similar handwriting style, that's okay. He's just trying to play it easy. If you have to be listening, he just wants to blend into your family. Santa is there for your level.
That's right.
We thought about asking Santa to not wrap them in coming years. So right now, my kid is only 2, and has met Santa 2 or 3 times this month at different locations. Had fun, knows who he is, and we're gonna be letting him get some small things from Santa. We tell Santa to keep it small. But I was like, next year as we start digging more into this, I say we give Santa a break and say, Santa, you can just drop them off under the tree. It's okay. You don't gotta wrap them. That way, that way, he'll just know those are the Santa presents. So that's the plan moving forward. I think, but for this year, I think he's going to wrap them.
Yeah, I think it. Sometimes Santa wraps them because it slows down, the surprise. If Santa brought 8 presents or 10 presents to you, and you can see what they are all at once, then it's not as much of a surprise. So, there are a few years that were in like the most memorable Christmases for me, and one of them was I got a drawing table and an electric guitar. That Christmas, and those were not wrapped. They were just there, and they were huge, and I totally get Santa not wrapping those, but I think that's probably why he wraps like some of them, because if there's 10 presents, maybe that's it's to slow down the excitement, so that way you don't just see everything and then you're like, oh, okay, that's it. Maybe that's what it is, but yeah, not wrapping presents makes sense as well,
Yeah. Santa also presses record whenever he's going to do podcasts, so that's one thing that Santa does. But yeah, so we're a few days away. I think because again, I don't have any of those traditions. I grew up celebrating 0 Christmas, and she obviously did, but we're kind of combining those things. I think I like the idea of like one, you don't get to know what it is or anything like that, but one present, Christmas Eve. I think stockings, that's a Christmas morning type thing.
I think so, yeah.
I don't know why, it just feels like a morning type thing, because I don't know about what you've been sticking in yours, but there's like some useful things, like some socks, underwear.
Yeah.
to me, if I'm opening that, that's not exciting. That's not ripping it off. That's just like, here's your, or, I know a friend of mine, they used to get the batteries for their presents in their stocking.
Yeah.
So that was
useful.
how they did that.
Yeah, we usually had like some useful stuff, and like also maybe like a little bit of candy was in there, and some smaller fun toys. But it was, it was the little things. But I like the idea of stockings helping, like you're saying, batteries and stuff. That's smart for Santa to put those into the stockings. Yeah, are you doing? I guess this year won't matter. He may not know as much, but you're leaving out milk and cookies and all that. Do you do that?
We did get a set, so I think that she has that plan to leave out the egg-free cookies, just in case our Santa has an egg allergy, much like my child, and so probably some Oreos and stuff. So I don't know if we're getting into that this year, if she just bought the set because it looked nice.
That always makes me think of the Santa Claus. You've seen the Santa Claus, right?
The Santa Claus is like one of the great movies of all time in terms of Christmas movies. Like, it's not amazing or anything, but the fact that there is a what am I looking for? A role, or not a role, just a different take. Yeah, and that there was a contract and a law-abiding thing to it, and that was Tim Allen in his prime, and so
when I think of milk and cookies,
solid.
Yeah, when I think of milk and cookies, I think of lactose intolerant.
Lactose intolerant. I think the milk's a little stale.
and she gives him the soy milk. Like, I'm like, that's so nice, because you don't know. I always really enjoy that. That's a great that and Elf are great movies, like for like the whole family. Like, I still watch the Santa Claus. Elf, we just watched. We watched a lot of Elf, so we kind of got, I guess, just kind of burned out on it. But I love the Santa Claus and Christmas Vacation are two I have to watch. Yeah, those are good ones.
I watch Die Hard every year. That one's not family friendly at all, but Die Hard's in every year. Love Actually is in every year.
Oh yeah.
And then generally speaking, Home Alone is in every year. Santa Claus has been working its way in. And then now that we got the kiddo, Disney Plus has some of the cool Mickey Mouse ones. So we've been watching some Mickey Mouse Christmas specials. He wasn't really into the Muppet Christmas special, surprisingly.
Really?
I thought that would be a win, but maybe it's because it's not Sesame Street Muppets. Maybe we need some Elmo or something in there.
Yeah.
Who knows? But with movies, I'm really excited, but I got to make it now. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I got to make it 5 more days. I got my tickets
before you watch. Spider-Man. Oh man, I thought I had it ready. No, for Spider-Man? Yeah.
Got my tickets for Spider-Man, 10 a.m. Monday morning.
Yeah.
Early bird tickets. Got my reserved seats right in the middle of the theater. We were the 3rd and 4th ticket bought. I bought that row that's like on the front thing, so nobody can sit like right in front of you.
I like that one. Yeah.
So
you got to go for the middle too. You did it right there.
I gotta avoid Omicron and everything else for that much longer.
Yeah.
So
I was trying to queue up the trailer, but I couldn't. I don't have. I had it. I don't have it. But I loved Spider-Man. I'm not going to give away anything. I loved it, but I will say everyone was trying to flood the internet with leaks. And one of the ones that came up, though, I did have this kind of queued up. One of the ones that came up was this little clip, but they cut it out. So they were like, "Oh, this is going to be, Goblin has some, gets Doc Ock's suit." This is from on the set of Spider-Man 2. I don't know if you've ever seen this. Willem Dafoe pranked Alfred Molina, showed up when he wasn't there, got in the costume and just pranked him and pretend. I was like, that's hilarious that that they would do that. So, but people were taking just the clip and playing it which of course was irritating. But I love this. Like, just, he's having fun. He's hamming it up, and people were taking that clip and saying, "Look, it's Willem Dafoe, and he's gonna have goggles, and he has this." And Yeah, that is how the internet works. People want them clicks, so they put whatever they want in there, and no, that's not part of the movie. But it would still be good if it, I love the two of them though. Love that. So
Yeah,
it's kind of a nice
so
moment.
that'll be nice and early Monday morning, and then hopefully also I can play some video games next week. It's tough, the not to be the downer-ish, but the vid is everywhere right now, and it is very hard to avoid. It feels like we find out about a new positive test, like kind of like in our sphere, every couple days, and so that's been pretty rough. So I have to make it 5 more days, and hopefully not get my ticket. Hopefully not have to refund my tickets.
Yeah. I mean, we've been barely going out, and like Christmas, we're gonna go look at Christmas lights.
Sure.
Probably Christmas Eve or so, and or maybe tomorrow. And then like some of our friends are doing New Year's parties, and I don't think I'm gonna do it. Like I'm vexed, but I don't want to chance it. Like while this is kind of getting hot and heavy again. I figure we'll just have a nice.
We're going to an EV party. We hired our first ever babysitter, and so it made luckily it's a party where we know for a fact that everybody has had the shot, and so there's that like small, but like it was a thing of we're really not doing a whole lot this year.
Yeah.
And we finally found a babysitter that seems like if Theodore likes her and she likes him and everything, hopefully that could be like a standing thing moving forward. Decent rates and everything. And so we're gonna give that a shot. That's tomorrow for a Christmas Eve party.
That's cool. No, that's cool.
But that's literally I think the only thing we really have planned in turn. We're doing solo Christmas and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's sad, but I feel like it's like let's just be responsible for a bit. And thankfully, since we're gamers, our hobby doesn't get affected as much. We, as much as I like to play like D&D and whatever like in person, I can play some video games at home and I'll be okay. Let's talk some video game news.
Put an ad on the front page. Cash money for a picture of Spider-Man.
Love it. So I've been playing more Tribes. I don't know if you've been gaming as much lately. I am.
I put like 5 to 10 hours into the Halo campaign, and that I haven't played anything since Saturday though.
I realized I'm playing at least an hour of Tribes a day. I've been the dogs have been waking me up early, so I'll wake up and play that before work, and then I'll play it like maybe after work. I'm loving what they're doing with it. The balance is working well, and the only thing that I don't like is the online. I guess if I had friends that I knew who were playing it, it'd be better because I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna friend with these people. So I've been doing online multiplayer stuff with it, and you get in there with like up to 10 people, but a lot of them just don't turn their mic on. They're not communicating, and they're not playing the objective. Like, so they're just kind of doing their own thing, and you're like, all right, hey, we're all supposed to be doing this one thing, and they're kind of doing their own thing because you still get experience even if you do stuff and you just leave. You get experience, but it's that's the only frustrating part to me is I think people haven't realized. It's like if you're playing like Call of Duty on like multiplayer and half the people aren't actually playing like the objective and don't know what they're doing, and they don't care and they're not communicating. It's frustrating. So I'm really loving it though. I need to get some new footage because this is my old footage. But yeah, you said you played how much of the campaign now?
I don't know, 5 to 10 hours. It's hard to say because I haven't been exactly tracking it, because from what I know, the campaign's actually relatively short, but it's not short for somebody like me because I have to go to all the dots. And so I systematically go in a line.
Yeah.
And so I can say, watch, there's going to be a quest that like makes me come back to the beginning of the map. But right now I'm like halfway through the map. I just did what I think is like the second or third like major thing on the like the actual campaign where I fought this dude with a hammer, I think, and then otherwise I've been picking up skins and doing all the other little things that you can do. You go save squads and stuff. I have to say, playing more of it again, the gameplay totally makes this game. That's what makes the multiplayer great, and that's what makes the single player great, because otherwise the single player is not great, because all this stuff that they put on the map, they didn't attach anything to it to really make you care. So my biggest example of that is going to save squads. So there's these squads that pop up on the map. You go to them, they're in firefights with enemies, and you go and basically like rescue them and make sure they win, and that you save that squad. And then after that, they're like, "Cool, Chief, thanks," and then you just go upon your merry way. There's no like little blurb. There's no like little like speech of how they got there. Maybe just a little like, even if it was like 30 seconds of like, "Chief, we were doing this, Chief, and like we were trying to save this thing," and there's none of that. There's no real meat to that. There's these audio logs that you find, and that's where the story is, in the audio logs. And so
I get annoyed by that.
Disappointing.
Yeah, I get annoyed by that.
It is annoying. The thing that saves it again is just how fun each individual fight is, because there's like different terrain and everything, and even though you're fighting the same enemy type over and over again, how you do it still changes from moment to moment based on where they are and what ammunition you happen to have and which gun you happen to have picked up at the time. And so that's really a saving grace for it. Hopefully, as they move forward, since this is infinite and we know that the campaign is not the end-all be-all, hopefully they learn that. But I can say, unless you're like me and you obsessively have to go along the map, the only stuff I would really pay attention to caring about is the skins that you can get, so that you can use those in multiplayer if you care about aesthetics at all. And then there's the guys that you find that unlock weapons for you that you can then spawn at your bases. Those are the two things that I would care about aside from the campaign. And even then, you could just do the campaign and probably not care that much.
I mean, I plan on playing the campaign, possibly starting tomorrow. I was going to ask, how long is the intro before like things open up? Is it, relatively short, like kind of setting the stage, like an hour or so, like Skyrim style, or do you have like kind of a few missions before everything opens up?
There's a couple. Like you start in space, so just like that original trailer you found where like the guy finds Chief, there's like a moment that leads up to that, and then you kind of do some things before you go down to the planet proper, and then I'm gonna guess you go back into space at some point, but who knows? That remains to be seen. I haven't been able to do any of this cool stuff that I see happening in this trailer, though. That I'll probably never do any of that, but I can dream, I guess.
It's cool. I think speaking of Halo, we had some Halo Infinite tournaments in regards to some multiplayer, and the shortage of Xboxes has even hit Microsoft, because Microsoft was not able to secure their own Series X's for that, and they used dev kits for the Halo Infinite tournament. Could be worse. They could have used Xbox Series X's when no one else could get them. So bravo for Microsoft for not saying, hey, we're gonna keep these to ourselves. Use some dev
Series X's.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad on that. They could have said, all right, well, we're gonna put it on some Series S, but it still, from what I've heard, it still runs well on the Series S. It's just your load times are going to be affected a little bit, and it's not going to look quite as pretty.
I don't even think that it's that bad as far as the Series S in terms of load times, because it still has the hard drive and everything. It's just definitely not going to look as good.
Yeah, it's not as pretty. I did hear some people saying that the load time it's still not like playing a PS4 versus PS5. It's not that level of difference, but apparently there was like it was still not quite as quick or whatever. But I think the visuals is a big thing, especially from a tournament. Like they want it to look good. Since Xbox is putting it on, they want it to look good. So kind of sad that they were using dev kits, but like I said, to me, I'm just glad they didn't bogart the Series X's while people are trying to get them for Christmas, and then Microsoft is like, hey, we got 80 at this event. That would just be I don't think that would ring well for people.
Yeah, but
yeah.
good for them for still making it work. We mentioned the Series S. I was looking at deciding if I wanted to buy any PS5 plates. I ended up ordering the pink controller.
Okay.
But I was like, I don't know, I couldn't do a pink, at least with how big the PS5 is. I just think it would look like Pepto-Bismol or something like that, just this giant pink like blob. But then I was thinking about it a little bit more. I was like, I could do a pink Series S. That'd be cute. That thing's stupid cute. Like a little bitty, or a little like, or even the blue that they have, like a little baby blue Series S. I think that'd be cute as well. I think totally random, but I was totally thinking about that when I was just like, why can't I get a pink PS5? Oh, because it's just too massive. The pink just doesn't work when it's that size.
I mean, you totally could, but
Series S.
I think it all depends on your aesthetic. If your room and everything else is if it's not jarring, then that's fine. But if you're trying to have kind of a mature like living room of an adult, like you and I kind of have that with our living rooms. We're not, we may have some nerdy things around there, but it wouldn't fit our aesthetic whatsoever if it was like a loud pink console on there. But what, you do you.
I decided I think I'm just going to stink with the white, but I did get the pink controller and I got the charger then. So as soon as that comes in, I'll have a nice charger. I made a little space for it, put it next to my Elite Series
the charger
controller.
So the charger that holds both of them. Yeah.
And so I got I don't know if you know, but if you get the Elite controller for the Xbox, the case for it has a USB-C plug and has wireless charging, so you can just dock the Elite controller in its little case. So put those right next to it. Just a nice little, everybody's in one world.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, I've got mine are in two different cabinets because I wanted to keep them from being on the up on the top and being cluttered. But I did get did you get the PlayStation brand or off brand for the charger? PlayStation brand?
No, I have not had good luck with some of the third party stuff I've had recently. I do have a Switch one where it's this guy right here.
Okay.
Where half of it seems to work great.
Yeah.
Sliding Joy-Cons into the other half does not work 100% of the time. It's really weird. Yeah. And then I have a PS4 one that I've had for a very long time that works. But no, I wanted to go ahead and just on a thing now. If it's official, it's official. The PS5 one has a good size to it and everything, and so just kind of went with that.
Yeah, I like it.
It looks like a PS5, which that's the other thing. They made it aesthetic.
It's kind of cute. Yeah. Like I've had mine since it's one of the things I got at launch, but I also got two controllers at launch, and you've only had one, right?
Sure.
Yeah, so
that's why I went ahead and I ordered it when I ordered the second controller.
That makes sense. Like, because when you have when you have two, it's nice to be able to do that. The majority of the time, mine operates as a dock for like a stand for the backup controller when my controller's running low on juice, and then I swap them. I'd say 9 times out of 10, that's the reason I've got two controllers. Maybe 8 times out of 10, and then the other is actually playing some multiplayer. It's nice to have the backup controller if you are playing for a long session or you didn't charge your controller. So I like it. It's good stuff. I don't have a reason to get. What's that? What don't you like?
Don't like employee abuse, and nobody else should either. I would think that they don't, but just in case you do, don't like employee abuse. It's not nice.
Yeah. And if you like employee abuse, unsubscribe.
You can go work for Ubisoft. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I guess you could find a place to work in Ubisoft. So we're having an exodus from Ubisoft being one of the companies that has had has had a lot of allegations of abuse, similar to and going further back than what's going on with Blizzard. And apparently, we're seeing an exodus of employees. We're seeing employees leaving because they're tired of either dealing with it or fighting about it, or all of the drama. Which I don't blame them whatsoever. If it's not getting better, then for your own sanity, get into a place that is better for you, even if you're not a victim of it. Being in that environment where that's going on, it's not right. So good for you for leaving. If it's not changing, that's what I say.
It's a little interesting how like the news is kind of affected. Is it just because like Ubi's not a American company that because we heard about it, everybody heard about it.
Yeah.
And it was like mentioned for a little bit, and then it just kind of went away. And then I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking about it in different terms, and I need to get more back into my normal line that people are going to forget rather quickly, and that's probably what actually happened. Because I also haven't really heard anybody talking about Blizzard lately. I'm sure the next time something comes up, they will.
Yeah.
But it's a thing where that news comes up, everybody's outraged, and then it goes away. But I felt like people were more outraged about Blizzard, even though Ubi's been longer, and they also, like Blizzard, did not get rid of like their top person.
Yeah, and that's what's irritating. I've got a buddy of mine, Chase. Shout out to Chase, doing the podcast over there. It's frustrating because he's been talking about it. Other people have been talking about it, and no one, like you said, they haven't actually. They've said some niceties, and they haven't made changes at the top level. And it's frustrating because if you're not doing that, how do you expect anything different to be going on if the leadership isn't changing, and that leadership knew about it going on? It's ridiculous to me. And it also hurts a lot of the employees who are, really great employees who are passionate about what they're doing, making games, who are either developing or even if it's an offshoot of Ubisoft, or Ubisoft is publishing something that has nothing that those devs have nothing to do with what's going on. It hurts them because that's the shadow of Ubisoft is kind of over them for people who know about it. To me, it's like it's the 21st century. We should be beyond this stuff being just like brushed under the rug, but it seems like that's what's happening. I feel like they're playing the waiting game, like you said. Wait till people kind of forget, or they're focused on something else, and then just go back to what you were doing. I feel like that's what they're trying to do. Play out the long game. Let people's attention go somewhere else. Let it cool down, and then go about your business, which is frustrating. What's that? Shiny. Yeah, shiny. Ooh, yeah. Which naturally we're going to do anyways. I mean, the internet's going to be angry about.
I mean, it's a completely fair strategy, to be honest. Like, not fair, but no, I guess fair. Like, it's a fair strategy because it does work.
Yep.
A lot of the time, unless you are just murdering people or something like that. There's a level there, and you have to cross it to not be affected by the internet's attention issues. Yeah, because I have those issues myself, and so it makes complete sense. I've been, especially this week with how tired we've been. I've been all over the place. I went just at work, just back and forth on different things, and that's stuff that I actually is in my face every single day. So when you have something like this where I'm not personally affected by it, it becomes just exponentially harder to keep that focus on an issue, and it should be focused on. And so part of that's probably our fault as consumers, but it just is a natural thing that happens.
There's so many things to focus on, and now that the internet allows us to see so many things or hear about so many things, there's a lot of good things in the world. There's a lot of dumb things in the world and bad things in the world, and I feel like the internet lets us know all these things that are going on. So it's almost like it becomes noise at some point, because there's so many things you could be outraged about, legitimately outraged about, let alone things that people are outraged about that don't really matter. So yeah, I think that we get jaded to it because of that. So don't get jaded. Keep up the fight. And if you hear about something like within these mistreatment of employees and stuff, support them. Kellogg's, by the way, Kellogg's, I don't know if you saw the protest, not protest, the
wage
what's wrong
stuff.
with me?
They decided to let people just walk instead of paying them or something, right? Like that, right?
It was
Well, they were the right company.
Yeah, Kellogg. Well, Kellogg was fighting essentially to be able to have, like, the employees were fighting to have unions to assist, like either straight up union or just the employees were basically saying we need to be paid better, we need health care, we need better health care, all these things. And Kellogg's has been basically saying, no, we're going to give you the bare minimum, or we're going to do whatever we want. So they had a strike going on for a couple weeks, and Kellogg's has given in, or at least they have negotiated to a point where everyone's happy, and they're going to go back to regular production. So people were posting during that, they were like, don't buy any Kellogg's products right now. And then other people saying, hey, also, a lot of the generic stuff that doesn't have the Kellogg's brand on it is made in the same places. So, like, you can't buy that and be like, I'm not going to buy this, I'm going to buy the generic. It's like, it's made by the same people, even though it doesn't have the brand name on it, which is hilarious to me. So that some of them are that. It's not every one of them, but they won. Striking worked in that case, and fighting for people to be taken care of. As terrible as it is that people are having to do that, in those situations, I always look at it and say, well, if they're being treated terribly, like they say they're being treated terribly, I'm going to support them, because I'm gonna believe all of them over the corporation that's saying, no, everything's fine, buy our products. I'm gonna believe the people who are in the trenches, literally and figuratively.
Have you ever seen that infographic for, like, it's like 10 companies that own, like, everything related to food? And I mean, it's the same way everything else too. Like, there's what, less than 10 media companies that own, like, everything media related, but it's this one thing that just, like, shows, like, there's Coke, there's Kellogg's, there's Pepsi, who else is there, like Nestle for some. I guess Nestle's kind of like more worldwide.
Nestle makes
worldwide companies.
Nestle makes, like, water and, like, a ton of other things, even though it doesn't say Nestle on it. Like, they're huge companies. What is it?
And so it's like those moments where you just feel like, I want to fight the man, so I'm not gonna buy Rice Krispie treats anymore. And then you're like, well, what else do you buy? Well, I buy Pop-Tarts. Those are owned by Kellogg.
Yeah, I got the actually.
No lie,
boom.
My kid likes Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the graphic right there.
Yep. So there's our. Let me zoom this in just a little bit, or zoom it out, I should say. Yeah. So, and you can find this with a lot of other companies, a lot of other subject. But yeah, there it is. PepsiCo, Nestle, Coca-Cola. That is Unilever. So that's looks like European. I don't know. Mars. So yeah, these companies, some of these you may not even know, but then I look at, like, the companies that they actually own. Like, Mars owns a ton. Mars, the candy company, owns Banfield veterinary clinics. So, like, the veterinary clinics, most notably, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the majority of these veterinary clinics are connected to PetSmart. So it's like you have the PetSmart and you got, like, the vet clinic inside the PetSmart. It's owned by Mars, the candy company. I mean, I get it. I guess when you get really big and you want to invest, diversify yourself. But like PepsiCo owns what is it, like Taco Bell and all those. It's crazy. So yeah, there's only so much we can do.
It's wild, and and it sucks to feel that way, and it's getting that. I don't think we included that in the news, and I'm sorry about that because I haven't really had the energy this week. But Embracer Group, the people that were like formerly, dang, I'm gonna be really bad at remembering names. You know who I'm talking about when I say Embracer Group? They
No.
own like a ton of video game companies. They used to be called something else, and then they changed their name to Embracer Group. Well, they bought their video game company, generally speaking, but they're the people who own Gearbox now. They bought Gearbox at some point recently. They just bought
And
Dark Horse
THQ Nordic.
Comics.
Oh, really?
THQ, that's what it was. THQ Nordic is what they were really kind of known for.
Yeah.
And their holding group changed their name recently, I think within the last year or two, to Embracer Group. But Embracer Group just bought Dark Horse Comics this week for like $3 billion.
Whoa.
And
Embracer Group owns Koch Media? Okay, not to be confused with the Koch brothers. Sorry.
Coke, yeah,
Different Koch. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. Yeah.
I've made that mistake many times.
I'm like, whoa, no way.
No, Koch Media, the video game company, not the Koch brothers.
Yeah, really. Sorry, the German company. Yeah, German Austrian.
But there's been an arms race going on in Nerdville. We keep seeing like Tencent buy companies, and I think Tencent bought somebody I've never heard of like a week or two ago. But Dark Horse Comics, a lot of people have heard of.
Yep.
And they bought them for $3 billion, which I honestly, I don't know anything about the state of comics, but I thought $3 billion was actually a pretty good deal.
Especially for Dark Horse. I mean, I can't think of
a lot, like
Turtle Rock Studios, by the way. That I just here we go. Yeah.
Yes,
so
that was
Tencent bought Turtle Rock, who made Back 4 Blood. I heard Back 4 Blood was good. I don't know if the sales were good, but I've heard good things about it. Yeah.
I think it was on Game Pass, so I think that it did like fine.
Okay, I'll check it. If it's on Game Pass, I'll check it out. Yeah.
I think it is. But so you see this arms race happening. So to bring it back to like the video game side, not just like the companies owning companies, but these video game companies are doing something similar. I mean, we see what happened with Microsoft. They bought a company as large as Bethesda's parent company.
Yeah.
ZeniMax, and we see PlayStation doing it on a smaller scale, but PlayStation slowly but surely just keeps buying studio after studio. Xbox owns, I think, over 25. I think PlayStation is at 20 or so. Embracer Group with THQ Nordic, they own so much stuff.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous amount. I think half the time they mainly do it to own IPs, but they also just buy company after company. Tencent owning company after company, and it gets to be really hard where if you want to get mad at a company and you're like, do I have to really just not buy from all this stuff? And then half the time you're not even going to remember. I'm not, a year from now, am I going to remember the fact that Tencent owns Turtle Rock Studios? Probably not.
It's tough. It's
shame
tough
on me, I guess, but at the same time, what am I going to do?
Yeah, it's tough to be able to remember those kind of things in your day to day, because it's not something that is that's easy to remember and easy to look up, like an allergy, like for food. Like it's more front of mind, as well as something you can very easily check on the packaging and say, okay, well, can't eat this. I think that's a little easier to remember, and it's also, I don't know, like it's one thing
That's
you need
why
to
I love
remember.
chain food now is food allergies. Since I have a kid with a food allergy, as much as I love local food, and we still buy local food, but we go to the same local spots every single time because we've already investigated their whole menu. In terms of if you're in another state, you're in another city or whatever, I know exactly what my kid can have at McDonald's and Wendy's and Taco Bell, like, because those menus are consistent. That's
good. And if there's an item on the menu that's a regional thing, then you just don't chance it. You don't order that thing.
But chicken nuggets are fair game.
That's cool.
That's one of the best things ever, is that you can get a McDonald's chicken nugget and it's the same chicken nugget everywhere.
Yep, that's true. We can go on a thing about, like, yes, fast food's not the best thing for you, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta eat.
Get out of my face.
Get out of my business. Yeah, but some things like we said, some things can suck, and some things you don't want to do, like we're talking about. And another thing you don't want to do is playing video games while you're driving, which you'd think that
Somebody driving a Tesla and did something, or
so Tesla's being investigated because Tesla's had like some games that were built in, and some other people have like added games to their Tesla. Well, apparently Tesla last December added a feature that allows your passenger to play games while you're driving, because the idea was, oh well, you can't actually do any of this stuff while you're driving, right? Because it's like, oh no, those are fun features, but when the car is in motion. Sorry, hold on one second.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay,
as far as like the car, when the car goes, I remember seeing it was a kid playing like Fortnite on their dad's Tesla screen while they were just parked waiting for some food.
Yeah, and the idea was like, okay, well that's only functional when you're stationary, but they rolled out a thing that I don't know if it's all games, but they rolled out a thing basically saying, well, your passenger can play while you're driving. So in that case, like the kid could play a game while dad's driving. Of course he wouldn't be the one using the steering wheel, but they'd have a Bluetooth controller, because it does support Bluetooth controllers. So you'd be able to do something like that, or play a game while the passenger should be able to do it while you're driving. Of course, if the passenger can do it, can you fake like, I don't know how it knows that there's a passenger, if there's that fail safe, but essentially they're being investigated right now to say, like, did Tesla make sure that it can't be played by the driver themselves? And to me, I don't know if this is something, if you unlock the ability to do that while driving, how will you know if it's the passenger or the driver playing the video game? I could play a mobile game, Pokemon Go, Summoners Wars, whatever mobile game I want to play, on my cell phone while I'm driving. Now, I shouldn't, but what I mean, if you're to me, it's like
Pokemon Go had that thing that you have to tell it that you're not the driver, right?
Yes,
and at that point you remove their liability because you admitted that you're not the one driving.
Yes, exactly. You've told them I'm not the driver, so then if something happens, then they can say, exactly, they've removed the liability for them. And maybe Tesla does something like that, where they pop up and they're like, hey, don't do this. Well, but I'll say both our Toyota and the Miata, if I need to pair a new Bluetooth device, or there's certain functionality you have to do that it won't do unless you're stopped. And that's really frustrating when you've got someone in the passenger seat who's trying to pair a new Bluetooth device or whatever it is, and we have to wait till we hit a stoplight or we pull over into a parking lot to do that. That's annoying. So if you're going to, and to me, I would like a little prompt like Pokemon Go said, hey, you can't do this while you're driving. And then you say, oh no, I'm not driving. And then it removes the liability. I'd rather have that. But like I said, I don't want people playing video games while they're driving. But we can't, there's certain things that, if you're going to stop it, they'd have to roll it back to no one can play video games on that system while the car's in motion, or you give the prompt to remove liability. Either way, I thought it was interesting that Tesla's being investigated for this. By the way, this is video footage from The Verge, because I couldn't find any video footage from Tesla, so I snagged their video. Yeah, of course not. And real quick, speaking.
By the way, I'm completely for driverless cars, so whenever that goes down, perfectly fine with it. So.
I'm fine with that. I am 100%, especially with the RAV4, as you've seen the cruise control in that, how it'll keep you in your lane. It'll keep and there's tricks. My
favorite thing is it adjusts the speed.
Yes, I get on the highway, I set it to like 85 or 90, and then I'm not going 85 or 90. I'm going whatever speed that car in front of me is going, and if they slow down, it's so nice. There's different tricks you can do because it wants your hands on the wheel. There's different tricks you can do to fake it. And I've had trips where I got on the highway, did something to essentially get around that, and I didn't touch the steering wheel for like 40 minutes because it's keeping me in the lane. I know that I'm basically on a straightaway for the most part. It keeps me in the lane. It monitors what's in front of me. I want that in the future. Like, I want my car like complete. I want the Jetsons driverless car. I hit the button and then I can, take a nap or whatever. That's
I want it by the time my kid can start driving. That's
yes.
That's the thing.
Yeah, well, that cruise control aspect, apparently they were saying that cars with that functionality, they're seeing an extreme decrease in the amount of accidents, like accidentally rear-ending somebody, like certain types of accidents. And it's because if you're using these features, it works really, really, really well. Now, there's always cases where someone says, like, there was I think it actually may have been Tesla. There was a taxi driver in Europe recently who said, "Oh, the car accelerated on its own." I don't think we've seen a legitimate story that was like that, where they could prove it was the car and it wasn't the driver making a mistake. So, not to say that machines don't make mistakes, because they do, but I've never had a problem with mine. The only problem I have with mine is if I set it to 85 and someone moves out of my lane, the car is like, cool, I got room, and then it guns it from 45 to 85, and then I'm like, shoot.
It's very jarring.
Yeah, that's jarring. Or it brakes harder than I brake. So Whitney doesn't like it, but could be worse.
Yeah.
Could be worse though. Yeah.
Could be worse if like the internet shuts down from like outages and people keep hacking things. I don't know. I know that this is primarily about AWS, but I don't know if you heard about what happened with the company that does time cards and stuff.
No, it's not ADP, was it?
No, it was.
It's one of the larger ones I could think of.
ADP is a big one. It's one that goodness, my brain is just like dead right now.
Did they get hacked?
Yeah, it was one that got hacked with like ransomware, and it's a company that basically that large
Kronos
and smaller. Yeah, Kronos. There you go.
Yeah.
That they also got hacked, and so the stuff that's going on, I'm not sure if the AWS stuff is related to just servers getting old, or if it's like people hacking them, but some weird stuff's going on internet-wise recently with big companies.
Yeah, this is the third time in a month or so?
Second or third.
Yeah, this is not as big as the last one, but still shows that vulnerability and shows how one company has control of, not necessarily control, but is housing so much between Amazon with AWS and Microsoft with Azure. Companies that used to have their own data center or they had space in a data center are now moving to the cloud, which just means another data center or another computer. So they're offloading it because of cost, because overhead. I get it, but if AWS has an issue, everyone has an issue. So this again took down video games and a ton of companies that use their services there. I think Disney was affected by this one as well, because they were affected by the last one. And by that I mean like Disney's IT, their app that you use during to get into the parks, like all that stuff, or to plan things in the parks. Did you say it was power issues that they said on this one? Or
this last one, was power issues is what it says.
They didn't have backup power? UPS? Come on.
No, the thing that I wonder about as more and more stuff like this happens because AWS is huge, Azure's huge, and these are big giant companies. I have not learned enough, but out of curiosity, have you started looking into Web3 at all and what the future of the internet looks like? Because if anybody didn't know, the version of the internet that you use right now is generally speaking known as Web 2.0. And if you were thinking about Web 1.0, you're talking about me and Patrick's early childhood, right before our childhood, like the days where you were on a phone line connecting to people. People were kind of just that kind of thing. And now you move into 2.0 where you have all this stuff generally hosted on like servers that are owned by other companies. And then what I know about Web 3 is that they're trying to like decentralize the internet, which is a blockchain and crypto conversation. But it kind of makes you wonder about that future, you know.
I haven't looked into it a lot. I'm familiar with a little bit of what it is. And decentralizing that is a great idea. It's a fantastic idea. If it is possible to have decentralized or diversification when it comes to something like this, that gets it away from it just being housed in Amazon. Maybe then you're looking at primary, secondary, tertiary like systems where if this server goes down, it goes to this other system, which you can do if you own all of the architecture. But I don't know if you can do that when it comes to if AWS goes down, go to Azure. There's probably ways around it. But when it comes to Web 3, I don't know how that would interact with this. It's also something like IPv6. They've been talking about going to IPv6 for 15 years or so, because
most people are still on 4.
We're the majority of the internet is still on 4. Like Google's still on 4. Majority, like I said, the majority of the internet is on 4, and IPv4. By the way, IPv4 being 4 octets, so 8.8.8.8 being Google. We run out of IPs really quickly. Yeah, everything. Yeah, exactly. And 4.4.4.4. It's really easy to remember. You run out of IPs very quickly, and then you go and get into port forwarding and that sort of thing, and things we could go further and further into. But 15 years ago, 20 years ago, everyone could have their own IP, and it really wouldn't be that big of a deal. Now there's no way. If you want, it gets crazy. So we need to move to IPv6, but to me, moving to Web 3 would take even longer. And it's a question of,
I don't think we're anywhere close to it.
No, we're not anywhere
it's
close
just
to it.
That this kind of thing just begs the question of like, if and when that goes down. Honestly, I don't think that it does, because ultimately large companies control the world, and unless some kind of E-bomb goes off, it's just I can't see that being a thing. It would literally take like a pulse that knocks out ginormous companies and people having to rebuild from scratch, and knowing that. But that's doomsday stuff that we don't even think about in 2021. We're about to go into 2022. 2022 is going to be our year, folks. So it's 2022 is happening.
No, but and large companies don't move and adopt new technology like the individuals do, or individuals can be swayed to do, like USB technology that's been updated relatively a lot.
You see how slow the moving is to USB-C. Forever. You have unions like Europe where they're trying to force it, and I think that it technically did pass, but the big companies could just be like, well, we could just not sell our product there. We could also do that.
Yeah, I don't think Apple's going to just say no. Yeah, I don't think Apple's going to say no. We're not going to sell in Europe.
I can't speak to that with any level of authority, because you already see that Apple has moved things like their iMac, things like their iPad Pros. Those are already using USB-C, but the iPhones and some of that tech does not at this time. And I don't know when it's going to, just to be extremely clear. I have no idea, but I think that kind of thing is interesting, where Europe says USB-C is now the standard. Well, what happens when somebody comes out with USB-D? Like, does that mean that I can't invent that? That's where you start to toe a really interesting line of like forcing people to adopt technology becomes creatively suppressive.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I completely agree because I don't want them to be locked in by law that they can't sell the new hotness that's so much better than USB-C. That's a problem. So no, I agree with that.
And just to be clear, USB-C is dope.
USB-C is
USB-C
great.
is super dope.
Yeah.
Speed, great. Charging power, great.
Yeah.
I love everything about USB-C.
No, I do too. I will say real quick as we're kind of wrapping up the show. There's another thing because we're talking about technology and this. There are, and I didn't have everything prepped for this, but I'm seeing a lot of companies and a lot of people talking about this, that HDMI 2.1, as we know it, we're seeing
HDMI.
a lot of. Yeah. So yes, moving over to.
Sorry, I thought for a second I was like, is he talking about HTML? No. Okay.
Sorry, HDMI. So 2.1.
So we've already moved past.
No. Sorry. So HDMI. So your high speed connection that carries video and audio and everything from your Xbox to your TV.
Yeah.
So apparently some manufacturers have started putting out TVs that say HDMI 2.1 on them, and if you read the fine print, then you'll realize it's not actually 2.1 because they can legally say they can. So I think that there's like a governing authority about like that handles things like HDMI and stuff, and they've basically said HDMI 2.0 it should now be phased out, or in these newer products, which it's not. You're seeing there's literally a TV that was being sold right now in Best Buy, and I wish I'd had this ready. There's a TV being sold, says HDMI 2.1, and then when you look, so streaming apps is different. The panel can do 4K, but in streaming apps is different. But the HDMI input is only capable of doing 1080 60. So you get your new Xbox, plug in the new Xbox to your new TV, you're getting 1080 60. You can't get 4K 120. You can't even get 4K 30. You can't. Yeah, 1080 30. I would be so mad. So apparently, just really, really research when it comes to TVs, because they're slapping that thing on the box to say, hey, we got this. Similar to how the TVs will say things. Yeah, similar to things we'll be saying like one of my one of the TVs that I had, this was like 2 TVs ago, it was a Samsung TV with 240 refresh rate, and what it was it's their interpolation, their smoothing. It wasn't actually 240 hertz. And then I thought it was. Went to Best Buy to be like, well, is there anything else that's better out here and stuff? And I said, my TV's 240, and the guy's like, no, it's not. Like, even I was like, wait, what? So don't be fooled by the marketing. Do your research. Don't be like me, because we all have those moments. So
ratings.com.
Yeah, exactly. Ratings.com. Any last Christmas wishes as we sign off here?
I wish to not get COVID before I see Spider-Man on Monday. I wish to not get it in general.
Yeah.
But my daycare is open next week, and I, for the first time in my career, was just given the week off. I didn't have to request it off. It's because of this rotation that I'm on, so it may never ever happen again. So I'm looking for just the vibes to stay positive, because I want to see that. I want to beat a Halo campaign, because my kid will be in daycare from the hours of 7:30 to 4 p.m.
That's so cool.
And I have to fit as many things as I can into that window from Monday through Thursday, because they're also closed on New Year's Eve as well. So I have 4 days to just kind of have fun and avoid all illnesses. And otherwise, though, I don't care about Christmas, but a lot of people do. I understand why. I didn't grow up with it. I'm trying to create that for my own kid, but I do hope that anybody who does happen to tune in, whether it be from time to time or all the time, I hope that you get the good tidings, as they call them, Yule tidings. You're gonna have to help me out on that. I don't know. The joy,
good tidings.
go see some Christmas lights.
Yeah.
eat some ham. I don't know. What are you doing dinner wise? I'm making a ham.
It's so yeah. Ham's easy. We got this, like, I think I told you, there's like this turkey breast thing that you can cook.
Oh, right.
That we actually really like. So I'm getting that again, and I'm making. But really, it's not about that. It's about
you grilling it. Yeah.
It's baked. And then, but the it's good. But the garlic parmesan mashed potatoes and homemade gravy. That's why all of it tastes good.
Oh yeah, she oven roasts a bulb of garlic.
Okay. Yeah.
To put into the mashed potatoes, so that's her prep work. Is she roasts that thing in there for like an hour or something?
Nice.
And then that goes into the
half and half, or
with,
okay, does
buttermilk. Buttermilk is what she does.
Buttermilk. Okay. I was gonna say, because I take my cloves. I need to roast mine. I'm gonna try that, because I take my cloves, I put them into half and half, or whatever milk's gonna go into the potatoes. I let that simmer, brings out the juices, and then you can, if you want, take out the garlic cloves, or you can just mash them up, blend them in a blender, whatever. But yeah, throw some Parmesan in there. And then homemade gravy on that. Whitney doesn't like stuffing, but I'm making stuffing. So
yeah, you throw, do a little skillet, do you with yours, do you just use the fat, or do you throw a little butter in there for your roux?
If I have enough fat, then I'll just use that. If
like
not,
2 tablespoons of butter, like 2 tablespoons of flour.
Yeah, that's what. If I don't have any fat,
milk or water.
So I use stock, if possible.
Cool.
Yeah, in this case, because it's not a full turkey, because usually I take the drippings from the dripping pan, old school, and I use that to make my gravy. In this case, I'm not going to get as much drippings, so I'm going to take a little bit of that, some butter, and like you said, make a roux with that. Chicken stock works with that. Yeah.
I use milk to make mine like a little bit thicker. But I'll also say, figure out who in your family does the most work. Make sure you take care of them with the presents and stuff like that, because I guarantee every family's got one that did a lot more of the work than you did, and you should make sure that that person gets the love. I know that there's people out there that just love watching their kids and love watching their spouses open stuff, but
sure,
even if they say that they don't like it, make sure they get a little something. Just take care of those folks.
Even if that's like letting them take a nap, like little things like that. Be like, you know what, I got the dishes.
Goes a long way, ladies and gentlemen.
For that individual who's like always cleaning up the kitchen and that, being like, you know what, we've got the dishes for you, that sort of thing. It goes a long way. But I hope everybody's safe and has some nice time with friends and family if you can, and if not, just relax and enjoy the quiet, and put on some of your favorite movies or favorite Christmas movies. So hope you guys had fun. We'll see you guys next week, where we talk about our favorite games of 2021 and what we're looking forward to in 2022.
Sounds solid.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good week. So
get that list.
we got a little bit of time.
List going, by the way.
I got the start of mine. I'll add a little bit on here. But
I know what's near the top, but I definitely need to go through, because I have, what did I say, like 65 games that I've touched this year, so I gotta really. I'm gonna say 10 and 10 is what I'm trying to stick with, which is 10 and 10. 10 sounds good.
It's like 10 from 2021 that I loved, and 10 from 2022 that I really hope are good, or I hope that we even get. Yeah.
Did you see what happened to the Pixel remaster of Final Fantasy VI?
No.
You see what they pushed it to, dude?
No.
It's supposed to come out yesterday. Guess when it comes out. Just take a stab.
Well, I'm not gonna say 2023. It's just come out next year.
No,
okay.
It comes out next year. So if
June?
you were gonna pick a time, if you were gonna pick a time that's completely void of any video games whatsoever, catch the sarcasm. When would you think that game is gonna come out?
So it's gonna be in like February or March.
It is coming out in February, bro.
Everything's in February.
Like, and I understand it's just a pixel remaster of Final Fantasy, but Final Fantasy VI is a big deal to a lot of people. But I was just like, I no problem with delaying it whatsoever. But you couldn't just be like, I'm gonna throw that one in April. It's okay,
But
guys. Like,
yeah, I
sorry,
would
we
say-
missed the December window. We'll just see you in April. Go get your Elden Ring on. Go get your Horizon on. Go get your Kirby
Yeah,
on.
'cause
We'll
I'm
see you
sorry.
in April.
I-
No big deal.
I can't wait to play that remaster. I can't wait to play the remaster. But am I going to play Elden Ring over it? Yes. Am I going to play some Horizon over it? Yes. Like, I'm sorry, that's
It's like
not.
Kirby over. I'm gonna play
God.
everything over.
I'm actually Kirby's on my list for 2022 because like this looks like a really really good Kirby game that I hope will get more
Kirby.
people like Kirby. I love Kirby. I love Kirby. So hope you guys
As long
had
as it's
fun.
not as bad as Kirby Star Allies, then we're okay.
Exactly. Hope you guys had fun. We'll see you guys next week. Merry Christmas, all that jazz. Later.
Merry holiday.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you